Today I'd like to tie for you an Adams Irresistible. The hook I have in the vise is a 3761 size 14. This is a 2 extra long. I think this is actually a nymph hook, but this is what I'm going to use from Green Caddis Outfitters, greencaddis.com. Irresistible is, the body is deer hair, so it's not going to have any problem whatsoever floating a nymph hook. Thread I'm going to use is black, and this is 70 denier. This is about 8/0 thread. We're going to start by putting on the thread behind the eye. We're going to take that back to the barb of the hook. There we go. We're going to start with the tail, and for the tail I'm going to use beaver guard hairs. And here we have the tips aligned nicely. We're going to take them out. We want them to be the length of the hook shank. I'm going to hold them with my left hand, and I'm going to trim a lot of that off. We're going to tie this on. I'm going to make some quick wraps to the front, and then I'm going to tighten it up as I come back. These beaver guard hairs aren't going to spin like deer hair. They're going to stay there nicely for you. Go ahead and put a wrap under the tail. Now for our body, I have some nice gray dyed deer hair here. You can see it's naturally going off of two directions, so I'm going to take this right out of the middle because that's not great for tying caddis or anything like that. I'm going to take that clump of deer hair and we're going to spin it on there. Put a couple of loose wraps and then let it spin. And right around it went. I'm going to pull the hair forward. Just put a couple of wraps in there is all you need to hold it. And then put a few wraps right in front of it. Just 2 is enough. Now at this point I'm going to take my bodkin needle and get the hair that's stuck in the bend of the hook and get that to flare out where it's supposed to be. Clean out the loose stuff. Take your scissors and trim that off in the back. Hold it right in place. 1 loose loop, 2 loose loops, then let it spin. Push that back into place. Take your thread, move it to the front. A couple of wraps right in front. And get another clump. You want to make sure you get that under fur out. Once, twice, and let that spin. I'm going to pack it in. Bring my thread to the front. Going to take one last clump. 1, 2, let that spin. Tighten that in there. Pack that in. Gonna move my thread to the front. Pack that in there a little bit harder. You can use a hair packer if you have it, or you can use your fingers just like I did. Put a couple of wraps in front. Now I'm going to whip finish this because it's a little bit too hard to try to trim with the thread still attached. Go ahead and trim that off. I'm going to put a little bit of head cement right there. I'm going to take my bodkin needle. I'm going to stand all the hair up. You can divide it away from the tail pretty easy with a bodkin needle. I'm going to take curved scissors and I'm going to trim it down. I'm going to put a piece of paper under here to collect so I can catch all of the hair. And now there we have the body. If you have a hard time, just spin the dubbing and then take it to your barber and see if he'll trim it for you. Now I'm going to take 2 Grizzly Hackle Tips. Take the Grizzly Hackle Tips and I have them lined up, and I gave them a little bit of the crew cut there. First we have to reattach our thread. And we want to put these hackle tips just slightly in front of the body. I'm going to tie them on towards the rear. I'm going to hold them forward and stand them up. Go ahead and give it a little bit of a figure 8. Now I'm going to take a Grizzly hackle and the Coachman brown hackle. Now we take the hackle tips and we put them with the concave sides together. I gave them a little bit of a crew cut and placed them right between the wing. And I'm going to leave a little bit of that crew cut exposed on the back side. Start wrapping them right up to the wing. Then I'm going to move to the rear of the wing, and I want to get them down there really pretty tight. Put a couple of good nice tight turns right there. And we'll move our thread back forward. You can see I have a little bit of the crew cut still exposed there. Going to take the hackles. I'm going to try to get them both at the same time. Get a wrap in, one whole wrap in back. Maybe 2 wraps in back. And that's helping to push that wing forward. Now I'm going to hold the wing back and rub right against the wing. And I'm going to get 2 wraps there. And then we're going to tie this off. I'm going to hold everything back, and I'm going to wrap in front of them. Now I'm going to remove the hackle tips, and I'm going to use my scissors because there's so much hackle sticking forward here. And now I'm going to wrap the head. Cover up those trimmed up spots. Take our whip finish. And here we have the Adams Irresistible. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.